Sandwich bread is not entirely real bread. Water can boil and freeze at the same time. Bananas are berries that grow in grass. Believe these or not, but let me ask you, did you know water can be wetter than it is in nature? Find out in this video. Bubblegum is usually pink because the first commercial gum, made in 1928, was like that. Pink simply was the only color of the food dye available at the factory. The first chewing gum ever, though, probably appeared about 9,000 years back. People chewed birch bark tar back then for its medicinal properties, for example, to fight fever. In fact, at different periods, people used to chew on lots of stuff. For instance, the ancient Mayans made gum out of chicle, a substance made from the sapodilla tree sap. They used it to fight hunger and quench thirst. And in North America, people chewed spruce tree resin, a habit which European settlers later picked up and turned into a commercial thing in the 1840s. You can't name a folder CON on any version of Windows. This also applies to some other letter combinations, such as PRN, AUX, NUL, and others. It has to do with the operating system itself. It creates folders to store data in them. And if you create one of your own using one of these names, it will confuse the system. If you shuffle a deck of cards to get every possible combination, you'll spend billions upon billions upon billions of years just to get a third of the way there. Think about it. There are 52 cards in a regular deck. And the possible number of combinations without repeating is 8 times 10 raised to the power of 67. Even if you shuffled the cards 100 times per second without repeating combinations, it will take you several hundreds of trillions of the times the universe has existed so far. Folding a simple sheet of paper 103 times will get you a stack 93 billion light years thick, which is more than the size of the observable universe. But if you decide to check this on your own, you won't be able to fold it more than 12 times. And that would require a really big sheet of paper too, as in almost a mile long. With a regular printing paper sheet, it would be even less, 7 times. In many supermarkets, you'll see 2 different bread sections, bread and bakery, and they do have different types of bread in them. The lighter, square, and most often cut in advance variety is called white pan bread, or sandwich bread, while the other is, well, just bread. The difference is that sandwich bread is made specifically to have stuff spread on it. It has a tougher texture, which allows the slice to not fall apart and go all crumbly when you put, say, peanut butter on it. It's also soft enough, letting you bite into your sandwich and not squeeze the contents out of the sides, turning your meal into a mighty mess. Finally, white pan bread lasts longer than regular bread because of the additives in it. They preserve the bread's texture for a week or so in your home, allowing you to enjoy your PB&Js for longer, while the traditional bread variety would likely go stale the next day. There's a state at which water can both be boiling and freezing. It's called a triple point, and it occurs when all 3 states of a substance, liquid, solid, and vapor, exist at all the same time without messing with each other. For water, the triple point happens just a tiny bit over the freezing temperature and at an atmospheric pressure of 0.006 atmospheres. The blue bird you see on the Twitter logo has an official name. It's Larry the Bird. And the creator of the social network named it after the former NBA basketball player Larry Bird from the Boston Celtics. If you've decided to save a few bucks by charging your smartphone less often, let me disappoint you. To charge a cell phone, you use teeny amounts of electricity. That's why the maximum amount of money you can save within a year is less than $1. Jeep is actually an abbreviation. Originally, it was called a GP, or a general purpose vehicle. It was only much later that it became a brand we know today. Bananas have a curved shape because they turn towards the sun. They're also not trees, but grass, by the way. The bunches grow downwards. But the fruit itself wants to get towards the sun, so it curves a bit up while it grows. Spandex, a fiber used for making sports clothing, got its name as an anagram of the word expands. If you were to watch every video on YouTube, you'd have to spend 1,000 years on that. And then about 1,000 times more because of all the new videos that would appear by then. You probably know that tomatoes are technically berries. Well, bananas, peppers, watermelons, and eggplants are too. There's a little open jar symbol on every cosmetics item packaging. It's called PAO, period after opening, and it tells you how long you can safely use the product after opening it. The jar is usually accompanied by a number with the letter M, which stands for months. Just make sure you remember exactly when you open the package so that you'll know when 3, 6, 9, or however many months indicated have passed. A phone jack often has several rings on it, each representing different components. One ring is for mono sound, 2 are for stereo, and the third one means your earphones have a microphone function built in. To know if an egg you boiled is fully cooked, just spin it on the countertop. If the egg spins steadily without immediately falling over, it's done. Instead of using good old water, firefighters extinguish fires with wet water. They add special wetting agents to it, chemicals that reduce the surface tension that regular water has. It helps the substance to soak into objects and spread everywhere much more easily. Your shower curtain sometimes gets a bit too clingy when you get into the shower trying to get clean. According to the shower curtain effect, the hot water lowers the air pressure behind the curtain. The higher, denser pressure outside the shower pushes the curtain in, making you feel like your shower curtain is out to get you. If you take a closer look at the regular garbage bag, you'll probably notice that the seam is inside out. In fact, you're not supposed to shake up the bag to open it. You gotta place the bag over a garbage can like a hat, and then just push the middle of the bag down into the can. This way, the seam will end up where it should be, inside. If you ever had problems with popping chocolates from the box, look at those little holes around them. They're there to help you. If you push a hole right next to the candy, it'll jump out easily. An extra hole at the upper part of the sink has multiple hidden functions. First, in case someone forgets to close the faucet, the water won't overflow and the bathroom won't get flooded. Second, thanks to that hole, the water drains faster, as it gives an escape for the air, helping the water flow down. Many cups and mugs have little grooves on the bottom on purpose. They're designed for washing machines. The grooves let the water flow and not spill all over your feet when you take the cup out. Also, those grooves let the air flow so the cup doesn't crack even if the tea is scalding. Take a closer look at that metal plate at the front of your stapler, known as the anvil. Turn the stapler upside down and rotate the anvil, reversing it. You're basically changing the stapler setting to temporary. In this mode, you can staple the sheets without too much vigor, so they can be easily detached from each other later. Let's admit it. Who hasn't enjoyed leftover pasta when not in the mood to cook something fresh? But most people don't know about the most efficient way to microwave this pasta. It'll heat evenly if you dig a hole in the middle, making the dish look like a large donut. To keep your pastries fresh, cover them with a slice of bread. If you want to keep your cookies in a bag, put some bread inside. This will keep them soft and prevent them from drying. You can use rubber bands to tie plastic bags, or you can cut the top of a plastic bottle. Place it over an open bag this way and just screw the two parts shut. When making yourself a BLT, which stands for bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, lace the slices of bacon together this way. This way, your sandwich will have proper coverage. The best way to slice bread is upside down, starting on the tougher side. This way, you'll preserve the shape of the loaf. You should also wait until the bread has cooled down to room temperature before cutting it. When you're having drinks outside, cover the glasses or cups with cupcake liners. This will stop all kinds of bugs from getting into the drinks. Try putting ice cream containers in Ziploc bags before storing them in the freezer. If you don't do this, the next day, you'll have problems scooping the product. But inside the plastic bag, your ice cream will remain soft. Instead of opening a bag of popcorn the traditional way, rip a hole in the side of the bag. This way, your hands won't get greasy. Ever dreamed of a perfect sandwich where nothing sticks out and the filling is spread evenly? Here you go. simply cut round sandwich fillings in half. This way, they'll cover the entire surface of the bread. It's possible to turn the metal plate on your stapler's base. If you rotate it, stapler pins will be bent outward. It'll allow you to staple something only temporarily, and the staples can be easily removed later. Separating pomegranate seeds can be quite challenging, but not if you use this method. First, take a very sharp knife and make 4 to 6 score cuts going from the top to the bottom, cutting through the skin but not the fruit itself. Then, fill a bowl with warm water. Submerge the pomegranate in this water bath. This will prevent the bright red juice from staining your clothes and everything around if any seeds burst. Then, gently crack the pomegranate open along the score lines. Then just pull each section outward. There's a way to hold a burger without it falling apart in your hands. Put your 3 middle fingers on top and your pinky and thumb at the bottom. This will keep all the filling inside. Pulling the trash out of the can or putting inside a new plastic bag may turn out to be very tricky. But by drilling a few holes in the trash can, you can make this task much easier. This way, air can enter the trash can beneath the seal of the plastic bag. It'll make it impossible for the bag to vacuum pack itself into the can. Try eating your cheesy snacks with the help of chopsticks. This way, there won't be any grease on your fingers. If you stash away your garbage bags, fold them into a neat origami triangle. This will save you space. The right way to eat a cupcake is munching on it like you would a sandwich. First, pull the cupcake out of the wrapper. After that, break off the bottom of the pastry and place it on top. This will allow you to enjoy the frosting in every bite. Some boxes of chocolates have little dents in between the holes for candies. If you push such a dent, the chocolate surrounding it will pop out of their compartments. If you need to microwave 2 bowls at the same time, place one of them on top of a cup. When munching on chicken wings, debone them by holding, twisting, and pulling out the 2 bones. After opening a cereal box, some people transfer its entire contents into a separate container. Others fold the plastic and put the bag back in the box, hoping to finish it before the cereal goes stale. But here's another, much better technique. Here you go, as simple as that. When using a blender, fill it with the liquids first. Only after adding your milk, coconut water, or yogurt, put berries inside, fruit, or spinach. When you're crossing out some words, don't just draw lines over them. This won't help if someone wants to figure out what you wrote. Instead, write other letters over the words. Hold your piece of pizza so that it forms a U shape. This will prevent the thing from flopping over. You can usually find some silica gel in bags, shoes, and many other things you buy. This gel is placed there to absorb excess moisture. Don't throw the packages with the gel away. Every time your shoes get wet, place the gel inside. Your shoes will dry much faster than they would otherwise. From now on, you can skip the chip clip. Here's a fast way to keep your snacks fresh. Just make several folds to prevent the bag from opening, like this. Ranger rolling, which means rolling up clothes while packing, can help you save a lot of space in your suitcase. It'll also protect your things from wrinkles and make your bag more organized. Use this method for pants, t-shirts, pajamas, swimsuits, and casual clothes. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for oversized clothes like sweaters. You can use a clothing or tension rod to hang spray bottles inside the bathroom cabinet and save space. The hole in a ruler can be useful if you want to hang the device on a hook. You can also place a pencil tip in this hole if you need to draw a perfect circle. If you need to fill a container with water and it doesn't fit in your sink, a dustpan will come in handy. Just position it in a way that will funnel the water straight into the container below. Instead of slicing a watermelon, try cutting it crosswise. Now, you have a convenient way of eating a watermelon stick, and the juice won't make a mess all around. By using ice cubes for your iced coffee, you dilute your drink, and it loses its flavor. Try coffee cubes instead. They're very easy to prepare. Pour some coffee into the ice cube tray and freeze it. Apparently, there's even a correct way to eat chips. Nah, it's not as simple as popping them into your mouth. If we talk about such chips as Pringles, try placing them on your tongue with the concave side down. It's usually more flavorful than the other. Another trick: slide a long piece of paper into the can and then carefully pull it out. Here's your makeshift Pringles tray. A staple will effortlessly keep your keyring open while you tack on new keys. Most kitchen shears have metal plier-like teeth in the middle between the handle grips. They can help you crack nuts, crab shells, and other tough products. You can also open jars and bottles or remove herb stems with their help. The easiest way to eat mangoes is by cutting them into cubes. This way, you don't even need to peel the fruit. To untie a knot really fast, twist the loose end as much as you can and push it through the knot. The best way to peel a banana is by starting from the bottom, where the black spot is. This makes the whole experience much neater. No more squished bananas and annoying strings. Sometimes you need to get away from your computer, but don't want to keep logging back in. Put your mouse over the top of an analog watch. The mouse will perceive the ticking second hand's movement, and this will prevent your computer screen from turning black. Try breaking in your shoes by putting them on while wearing thick socks, and then blow drying the tight areas. Activated bamboo charcoal can help you remove unpleasant odors and bacteria. Put it in a mesh bag and leave it in the room you need to freshen up. No more costly air purifiers. You can keep your cold meals cold and your food fresh by making a DIY ice pack. Take a sponge and fill it with water, then put it in a plastic bag and leave it in the freezer. Once the sponge is frozen, it'll stay this way for a long time. Keep in mind that you should use a watertight bag and a fresh sponge. You can reuse your old curtain rings by placing them on a hanger. Then put your scarves or anything else that will fit through them. This will help you save space and make it easier for you to look through the things in your wardrobe. We eat it round the clock. But have you ever asked yourself who invented this dish? I'm talking about sandwiches, of course. One theory claims it was a man named John Montagu, also known as the 4th Earl of Sandwich, who lived sometime in the 1700s. The man didn't like interrupting whatever he was doing so much that he came up with the now famous invention. This way, he didn't need to take a break to have a real meal. One other brilliant culinary invention that you can't probably imagine your lives without is pizza. While most people know where the original one came from, the much debated Hawaiian pizza actually comes from Ontario, Canada. A Greek immigrant by the name of Sam Panopoulos came up with this recipe in 1962. You didn't happen to think the famous Roman emperor used to eat this salad every now and then, hence the name Caesar salad? That's certainly not the case. Once, during the July 4th celebration, an Italian chef named Cesare Cardini ran out of food. Desperate to feed his guests, he ended up putting together whatever ingredients he had and making a salad. Was it a success? Absolutely. Chopsticks are way older than the fork you likely use every day. About 4,500 years older to be precise. It's believed that chopsticks should not be shared between people, even if they were previously washed. Otherwise, you'll be at risk of picking up aspects of the personalities of those who used the chopsticks before. The most versatile fashion item of them all, a pair of jeans, usually has a tiny pocket right in the front. It was designed to keep a pocket watch. This kind of watch may not be in style anymore, but the pocket remains. While we're on this topic of fashion, the pom-pom on the top of a stocking cap actually has a purpose. Once worn by sailors so they wouldn't hit their heads on low ceilings of whatever ships they were in, the pom-pom is said to date back to the Vikings. Even though it's hard to picture Ragnar the Great with a pom-pom on his head. The first thing most people do after buying a piece of clothing is cut off the tag situated on the inside of the garment. This tag often makes you feel uncomfortable, sometimes even itchy. And it only has a bunch of symbols written on it, right? Well, those symbols actually provide a lot of useful information that can help you to preserve the garment for as long as possible. For example, you can find washing or ironing instructions there. Make sure to have a look at the tag before you throw your piece of clothing in the washing machine. There's a reason why pens are designed with holes in their caps. Those have a very important purpose. In case a cap gets accidentally swallowed, the hole in its top will stop the cap from blocking the person's airways completely. This will prevent choking. Whether you're allergic to them or not, I bet you don't know peanuts aren't actually nuts. According to their scientific classification, they're actually legumes. Confusingly enough, we recognize almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and cashews as nuts too, but technically, they're seeds. USB cables have now become familiar items in every home. Interestingly, the little USB logo has a story of its own. Though it was up for much debate online, it's most commonly believed to resemble the trident of Neptune, aiming to symbolize universality and versatility. We need salt for seasoning our dinner, for health reasons, and most importantly, for chips and popcorn. But in ancient Rome, salt was so important that it was used as currency. It has been said that for their services, some Roman citizens were paid in salt. Is that how we got the word salary? We also came up with the name buttermilk, but this liquid does not actually contain butter, at least most of the time. If you follow the traditional recipe, buttermilk is what's left behind after you churn butter. Here's an interesting fact about cats you might have never heard about. Cats have only 4 toes on their back paws and 5 toes on their front paws. It's believed this helps them run faster and improve their agility. Formidable. Used for packaging these days, bubble wrap was initially supposed to be wallpaper. 2 engineers who came up with the idea wanted to create a different texture for walls, but the product didn't turn out as popular as they expected. But when the company IBM needed to deliver some fragile computer components, bubble wrap was repurposed, and it became the kind of packaging we've all come to know and love. Popping the bubbles for stress relief is just a nice added bonus. A computer gadget used for all the endless scrolling is called a mouse. And that sounds right, since it's fast, small, and the cord that connects to the computer looks like a tail. But initially, it was called a turtle. That's because of the device's hard exterior that resembles a shell and all those moving parts underneath. While most food items are sold in plastic bags, bread and other fresh pastries in most cases come in brown paper bags. The answer is twofold. Since baked goods are supposed to be consumed in a couple of days, tops, keeping a loaf of bread in a plastic bag can alter its taste and texture. Secondly, paper packaging allows air to flow evenly. This helps to keep the bread fresher in the short term. The reason why the pound cake got its name is because the original recipe asked for a pound of each basic ingredient: butter, flour, sugar, and eggs. This ratio ensured the unique consistency of the cake. It sounds like a lot of food. Well, no wonder. The cake was meant to be eaten over a long period of time. On the topic of packaging, some fruits come in different types of colored mesh. Oranges are sold in a red mesh, while lemons come in green. Well, that's not random. The hue of the mesh is selected to better bring out the color of the fruit, which makes you more likely to buy it. Talk about smart marketing. There's an interesting story behind the regular pencil as well. When you picture a pencil, you most likely imagine it yellow. Well, this color was chosen not by accident. Pencils contain graphite. When they started to be mass-produced in the 20th century, the best type of graphite was in China. And since yellow is the color of Chinese royalty, most pencils were painted this way to show their origin. Have you ever wondered why the candle wick needs to be right in the middle of the candle jar? It's done so to prevent the candle from burning unevenly. If the wick is off-center, you won't get all the use hours out of your candle. It may even stop burning altogether because all that wax dripping over itself. One of the best or worst, depending on how much of a fan you are, things about going to the movies is watching trailers. But have you ever wondered why we call them this way? That's because they were originally displayed after the movie, and these little snippets were trailing feature films. Once projectionists realized that not a lot of people remained in their seats to watch trailers, they started showing them at the beginning of movies, but the name stuck. Erasers often come in different colors. The blue, more rigid part of the eraser is designed for coarser, thicker types of paper, and the pink part is better suited for use on classic notebook paper. We use paper towels for almost everything in the kitchen these days, from wiping surfaces to cleaning fruits and vegetables. But chefs and other people working in the industry swear by using bar mop towels. For starters, they can be reused, which is better for the environment. Plus, you can do almost everything you need with a cotton bar towel. From pulling stuff from the oven, to grabbing hot handles, from chopping fruits, to wiping up all sorts of spills.